can't get a flight out. They find a flight to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 6 hours from California to Pennsylvania, and another 11 hours by car to be here this weekend. I mean, is that not the stories of success? Isn't that what it takes to be successful in business? And I share that with you because it's just hard not to get passionate about the people that are in this stadium. Do you realize that there were people in Charlotte that didn't make this event? Do you know there's people that drove by and they saw the crime tape out front around the snow? They said, honey, let's go home. We can't get in there. Look at the crime tape. You know that's true, yes or no? See, but you're different. And my job here today is to share with you a topic that I'm extremely passionate about, and that's called training. And understand, our first couple years in ACN, we didn't have a lot of success, just like some of the other individuals you're going to hear that are going to talk this weekend. That we struggled in the very beginning. See, this was a new concept, this was a new idea, this was a new business, and can we agree when something's new, you got to change your mentality to adopt to something that's new. And so when we talk about training, you know what I love about training is the fact that all of us are here to gain knowledge from people that have already done it. And they're going to pour their heart out all weekend long, and your job and my job is to take that information and to take action with that information, but you got to be coachable. Tell your neighbor, you got to be coachable.
You got to be coachable.
Tell your other neighbor, you got to be coachable.
You got to be coachable.
Damn right.
And I know there's somebody in here that didn't do it. You're not coachable. Now, understand training, as I go through and talk about it, I'm going to talk about it from a leader perspective. Is that okay? See, I know if you made it here this weekend, you're already a leader. So when I talk to you, I'm going to talk to you from that leadership perspective. Now, the first thing I want to say is training is important for a couple different reasons. Number one, it builds belief. See, when we get involved in ACN in a living room setting, can we agree we don't have the big picture of what this is all about? When I signed into ACN, my belief system wasn't through the roof. It wasn't until I went to a training. And I remember going to my first training. I drove 150 miles one way to that training. And I walked into that training, and it was in Ohio. And the gentleman in front of the room was 27 or 28 years old. And I thought up until that point, the reason why I'm not successful is I'm not old enough to be successful. And I watched this individual dominate that room at 27 years old. And he changed my perspective on success. And that was Oren Solomon. Senior Vice President Oren Solomon. He took that excuse away from me. Second thing, what it does, it gives you belief in the services. Can we agree that when we go to those trainings and we hear the testimonials about Innovia and how professional they are and how they take the entire burden off of us and they contact the customer and they help the customer work out the details, can we agree that gives us confidence in that service? When we go to the training and we hear about people that have benefited from Flash Wireless, can we agree it gives us confidence in that service? Or we hear the testimonials about Zoom Energy, gives us confidence in that service. See, training is important because it builds the belief and it builds the confidence. But it also educates. See, I believe there's two types of education. One is book knowledge and the second is experience. But can we agree we need both? And understand, when I went for the first time skiing, I'll never forget this. I was a kid, I was in high school, I saved my money up to go skiing, and it was expensive, and we had to rent the equipment, and before they let us go skiing, they had a little training that we had to attend. And I remember the instructor talking about how to ski and the techniques of skiing, but where was my mind when they were talking? My mind was on skiing. I was like, I just want to get up there. I can't wait to go down that hill. I'm so excited. And the professor or the instructor kept talking, but I wasn't listening. My mind was on skiing. And do you ever notice how they give you the instructions at the bottom of the hill? Did you ever notice that? And so there I go. I'm on the chairlift. I'm excited. I'm going skiing. And now remember, I'm in Pennsylvania. These aren't the Himalayas. This isn't out west. This is a hill at best. But for some reason, when I got to the top of that hill, it felt like the Himalaya. Anybody know what I'm talking about? and the wind was whipping and it was cold and I started down that hill and I started picking up more speed as I went down that hill. And what do you think I started thinking as I started going faster down that hill? How do you stop? Now, can we agree they covered that at training? But it didn't have any value to me because I didn't have any experience. And you know how I made it down that hill? On my backside. Anyone know what I'm talking about? And so they had a second class. And when I went to this second class, what do you think I said? How do you stop? Right? How do you? And they told me how to stop. And so it was the experience coupled with the education that made me able to ski. So when people go, do I got to go to training every week? My answer is yes. Do you brush your teeth every day? Yeah. Well, you don't have to. Can we agree with that? But nobody's going to want to be around you. And the same thing about training. If you don't go to training every week, everybody's not going to be one around you either. Can we agree with that? So you got to be committed to training. And you got to understand that it creates duplication. See, this is a business of building an army of people doing something simple. Duplication. Teaching somebody to do something that you can do and you can teach them how to do. It unlocks your potential. When I walked into the National Convention for the first time, can we agree our belief levels through the roof? Can we agree we see what's the potential here? That we too can have success. And it refills our tank every time we come. See, anybody that has a no that bothers them, it's because they haven't been to training. How many of us agree when you leave the National Convention, you have the bulletproof no vest on, yes or no? Yes. The no's don't affect you. And the only time a no affects you is because you haven't been to a national convention. And the people that have been to multiple conventions, can we agree their bulletproof no vest is thick? Nothing affects them. And that's what training does for all of us. It unlocks the potential. It refills the tank. I mean, you need to go to training to get your belief level up, to get your vision up, to get your excitement up to where it needs to be to take action and have success. Now, there's a goal at every weekly training, and I'm going to teach you what we do at our weekly training. Our leaders have gotten together over the last 6 years and crafted a training that we promote. And if you don't have a weekly training, you can start one in your local area. Meaning, I don't care if you start in your living room or you start at the local hotel or you find something. We need leaders, yes or no? How are we going to feed 17 million children without leaders? Can we agree? We need leaders to feed 17 million children. Now, here's the goal of the weekly training. Now, write this down. This is called a goal. What's the first goal? It's to enroll people in becoming an IBO. See, we've done meetings all week long, home meetings here, home meetings there, and we've been in front of a lot of people and we funnel them all into the training. And the training is designed to help them make a decision to get involved. But the second thing it does is helps us get people their first promotion, a QTT. See, the goal with the weekly training is you should have your iPads. You should have your laptops. You should be getting people qualified at your weekly training.